Hello, hello, and welcome to Coaching Corner with me, Tracy Forsyth. And today, the subject is how to lead with empathy. So, when you think about it, how much does empathy play a role in your leadership style? Are you old school and think anything like that is just a bit too soft to merit serious consideration? Could you never imagine empathy in the boardroom, for example? Were you brought up by leaders who were definitely more tell, don't ask, rather than ask, don't tell? And is the discussion about feelings for you, is any kind of thing like that, is it awkward? Well, you might be interested to know that the business book of the year this past year is called The Leader as Healer. The Leader as Healer. And I've been lucky enough to study or be on some workshops and webinars with the author, Nicholas Yanni, through Coaches Rising. So Nicholas, is a renowned thinker, renowned coach in leadership development. And he says, to face the scope and the threats of 21st century challenges, today's leaders must possess potent powers for logic, reason, discernment, and strategic forecasting, yet they must also be empathetic and therefore embodied, grounded, and intuitive. So how to do that if it doesn't come naturally? Well, for that, I'm going to refer you to the book for a multitude of Nicholas's insightful methods. But in the meantime, I'm going to share what I have found to work. So if you find it hard to put empathy into practice, then try these. So number one is to ask open-ended questions. Open-ended questions. So these are questions that cannot be answered with a yes or a no, but require a more expansive answer. And it really helps people to open up and share more detail. It's like an invitation to tell me more. So, examples of things like simple things like, how are you finding things? Tell me more. What is it about such and such that you find such and such? So open-ended questions. Number two, listen to understand rather than listening to respond. And I think this is a Stephen Covey tip. When we listen, we're often just waiting for our time to speak and make our point. But if you concentrate on listening to understand rather than just responding, and ask a follow-up question or two before you respond, then the other person has a much better chance of feeling heard and understood. You could try repeating what they've said to clarify you understood. So focus on them, not you. So point number three, allow the time and space for the other person to process what they're thinking and to express themselves. Don't be in a hurry. Create an expansive moment. So even if you are time pressed and you only have 15 minutes, if you're intentional about giving your full focus to that person for those 15 minutes, it will still work. So frame the time that you have up front. Hey, we've got 15 minutes. How best shall we use that time? People need time like we do. We all need time to process our thoughts and feelings and before we even articulate them. So create that space for other people. Hold the space for them. So number four, look for non-verbal cues and what is not being said. In coaching, we talk about level 3 listening. So listening beyond the words that are being spoken. This is about tuning into non-verbal cues and body language. If somebody's sitting like this, for example, and being aware of what is not being said. It's also about tuning into your intuition about what is going on. Name what your intuition is telling you. For example, someone saying all is well, but looking terribly upset. You might try saying, listen, I may be wrong, but I'm getting a feeling that you aren't very happy. Sort of experience it for yourself and then try naming it. Number 5, Experience things from the other person's point of view and comment from that point of view rather than your own. So Dale Carnegie, who wrote How to Win Friends and Influence People, thought this was the key, the nugget, the key to success, looking at something from the other person's point of view and speaking to them from that point of view. So this is one of the great ways to show empathy. Take a walk in their shoes, see what they see, experience what they are facing. It may be very different to your reality, but take time to experience it and appreciate it. And number 7, refrain from judgment or instant solution suggesting. Many of us want to jump in and problem solve for the other person, and it comes from a good place. So we jump to solution suggesting or telling people what to do. Worse, telling them that they shouldn't feel that way. Don't be silly. It's not right. Not really like that. Denying somebody else's reality. And although we think this might be comforting, sometimes it cannot be the most helpful method because it shuts people down, denies them their feeling. So hold back from unsolicited advice. It's different if somebody says, please help, what would you suggest? That's different. But let them get it off their chest first. And instead of going instantly to solutions, think about asking, what do you need? How can I help? What would be most useful for you to tackle this? Empower people to come up with solutions and ways forward. So often there is no easy solution, and you might not be in a position to solve all their worries anyway. But having empathy, demonstrating empathy, listening actively, being present for someone has enormous benefit. It allows them to feel heard and process things, which may in turn allow them to become aware of ways forward that they hadn't considered. So 2024, if you're going to develop one leadership skill and focus on one thing, I wholeheartedly recommend empathy. I hope that was useful. And don't forget, check out Nicholas Yanni's book, The Leader as Healer. It's packed full of amazing techniques and advice. All right, take care. Bye.